It has long been a popular argument among campaigners for reform of America's marijuana laws that legalization would strike a major blow against the violent Mexican drug gangs that have brought so much misery to parts of that country and, increasingly, along the U.S. border. The logic is simple. Marijuana smuggling is a major earner for drug gangs, so a legal crop in the U.S. would have a dramatic impact on their operations, lowering the amount of money available to them to bribe cops and hire killers south of the border. Fairly typical of the tone of such reporting was a nice piece for the Monitor earlier this month by Sarah Miller Lana, titled "Biggest Blow to Mexican Drug Cartels." It could be on your state ballot. The piece summarizes a paper from a Mexican think tank that argued legalization in any of the 3 U.S. states considering legalizing recreational use of the drug, Oregon, Washington, and Colorado, could do major damage to organized crime south of the border. A yes for any state would have huge implications for the U.S., but the referendums would also have ramifications south of the border. A new study released by the think tank Mexican Competitiveness Institute (IMCO) shows that if the referendums do pass, proceeds for Mexican drug trafficking organizations could be cut by up to 30%, depending on which state goes forward with the referendum. Read the report here in Spanish. The possible legalization of marijuana at the state level in the U.S. could provoke a considerable loss in proceeds of drug trafficking for Mexican criminal organizations, the report concludes. In fact, it says, ballot initiatives Tuesday could represent the biggest blow to Mexican criminal syndicates in decades. Well, yes, it could. But with Washington and Colorado now having passed their measures, voters rejected legalization in Oregon. The theory of more legal pot equals less drug violence in Mexico is about to be put to the test of experience, with a whole host of assumptions made about its salutary effect coming up. Against facts. Color me skeptical. While any student of American history knows that prohibition creates the opportunity for big profits for criminal syndicates, and violence always follows that, the prediction of a big hit in the cartel pocketbook relies on a set of uncertain assumptions. That marijuana production in Washington and Colorado will surge. That this additional supply, without the expense and danger of crossing an international border, will be cheaper and leak out into the 48 other states, displacing Mexican imports, and that the malign influence of drug gangs on Mexican society will therefore be reduced. Mexico's drug war, in pictures. The Mexican think tank estimates that $6 billion a year is derived from marijuana exports from Mexico. Is this estimate accurate? Hard to say. It's not as if we can crunch the numbers from excise tax rolls. But let's assume that's a fairly accurate picture. What portion does that represent of cartel income? Well, nobody knows.